Do you have a joke or not?
Do I have a joke?
Yeah.
Ed, caught without a joke, Mr. Cheese? No joke? Are you kidding? Is this a joke? Is that the joke that you've come up with? Is this a counter joke to stymie the joke I would have told? All right, I don't have a joke. I admit it.
That's
There's
that.
no
That,
joke.
that,
That's not how this. That's
I,
not how this goes.
that will do, I think, for your opening joke.
I think that'll be sufficient.
Hi, everybody, and welcome to People's Exhibit. We talk about news
Hello.
and shit. That's how we define it now.
News and shit. Yeah.
Yeah. Mostly shit though. Sometimes news. So the big scandal happening this week, it's still developing, unfurling. People are still
Yep.
unpacking it in the modern parlance.
Yeah.
So we're about to unpack it in front of you. So we usually start the show with crowdfunding news. We don't,
And it is crowdfunding news.
it is crowdfunding news, very much so. So it's usually Kickstarter and stuff. This is and stuff. So about what 5 days ago, this week, last week, escapist.
On the second, I think.
Yeah, well, maybe. Wow, that was almost not this week. Oof, we've barely made it in. So, Escapist wrote an article about Star Citizen and the Cloud Imperium games who are making Star Citizen and the 42nd Citizen or whatever the other thing is called. Most crowdfunded in the Guinness Book of Records crowdfunded game in history, which now has crowdfunded up to 90 million, I think, dollars.
Yes. Yeah.
And so they wrote an article where they had conversations with some anonymous current and ex-employees of Cloud Imperium. Is that what they're called? Yeah, Cloud Imperium.
I believe so.
And they were quite disgruntled, and this is like, and they talked a lot of crap about their ex or current employers and their bosses. And it's a pretty big article. It's like 3 pages, three internet pages long. And it mostly talks about how this game is not going to happen. Most money is going somewhere else, be it advertising or private vacation journeys, vehicles, houses, stuff like that.
Salaries, you mean?
Sorry, salaries. And like about the alleged toxic environment at their offices, etc., etc. So there's like a lot of just a giant steaming pile of shit, really. And obviously the people are anonymous; they wouldn't really want to be named in this kind of shit. And they said they had 9 sources, but 2 of them were so anonymous. They're not even.
They're not even numbered.
Yeah, they don't even have a number. The others have numbers.
Yeah.
And main message probably, besides like, oh, they use swear words in their emails, our bosses, etc., is that none of them believe this is going to happen, or if this game is going to happen, it's not going to be by the current copyright holders and whatever the Imperium. And those one of them was saying that it's going to be probably bailed out by some investor, and then released as something, which will be something else. by that point, Chris Roberts, the guy in charge of this, gone. So there's 2 people they sort of talked bad things about were Chris Roberts and his wife, whose name I forgot, but she's an Australian actress who is also the head of HR and the vice president of Cloud Imperium. Obviously, Chris Roberts didn't like that very much. He got pretty upset. So he wrote, I guess, an open letter to them, which contained many things. Rebuttals, counter accusations, and also invitation to visit their offices and see for themselves how good things are there. And also but it all ended with like, you have 24 hours to comply, or we'll see you in court.
Yeah.
That's the kind of the funny bit. There's several funny bits here, but that's the one that I like probably the most is where they say, "Come visit our offices, see you in court."
Yeah, that's like fight me IRL.
Yeah. Also, I'll prove to you beforehand that I'm right, but then I'll fight you. To which Escapist said that they are going to fight them IRL. They're not going to back down, and they said that they vetted their sources, etc. You should really read the article if you're interested in this, because there's some bile there you don't see every day, kind of stuff.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and so they're not backing down, and the deadline was like on the 3rd or 5th of October.
Yeah, so that's passed.
Yeah, that's passed, but this hasn't been no further news, so it's not going to be unclear if they are actually going to court or not. They're going to take them to court in two countries as well.
I think so, because the latest update on this article was on the 6th, so that's already a positive kind of action. And you see the update here, actually, if you read the article at the top, they're saying, nah, fuck it, we wrote this article, it wasn't just like flippantly made, we're standing by it, because, well, they kind of have to.
Really, yeah.
Because putting up something like this and then backing down, everybody's kind of gone all in on this because if you have a look at it, it's so like specifically damning that it better be true, kind of thing.
Yeah.
As far as they're concerned, and then on the other side, it accuses them of illegal activity. So it's obviously in their interest to go, well, okay, you just said I do something illegal, you probably need to prove that because this is really damaging to me. So once you get to this stage, it can only really burn out.
I wonder how it works, because do you mean the illegal activity of like financial type, or you mean the racist? I don't even mean
that. The part that interested me the most was the accusations about this HR lady, Sandy Gardner.
Yeah, the discrimination stuff.
Yeah, because that you could send someone to jail for that. As far as like someone's opinion as to whether the game comes out or not, like, I mean, I'm an artist in a studio, and I'm very cynical about a lot of the things we do sometimes. But I also recognise that I don't really know the exact ins and outs of the financial stuff. So I can have opinions on that, but it's not... I feel like this stuff could be true, and if so, this is a really big deal. But I feel like this should almost have been two articles. One is like, they're mismanaging your finances, and I really don't think the game will come out, and then everyone goes, well. And the other one is like actual accusation of illegal hiring conduct. And you know, some fucked up HR shit. So I'd be very interested. The thing is that I don't have any skin in the game on this, really, except for really minor. I hate the Escapist. I hate Derek Smart. I think they're shit. But I don't have a Cloud Imperium game. I never backed this. And it would be nice if it came out, and I don't know anything about them, so I kind of like a little bit like hope that it's all made up. It would be hilarious, and then they get taken. But I mean, if this is true, then fuck Cloud Imperium, obviously. So that's the thing. This is why it's really important in this instance to find out, versus with David Cameron, where it doesn't really matter if he fucked a pig or not.
Yeah, remember you last, I think not the last show, but one before that, you asked me, like, oh, Sandra, since you backed this, like, what's your, opinion of what's going on with, the game, etc. And I said, in the worst case scenario, we're looking at a spectacular train crash. So this is, I guess, kind of
first stop.
Yeah, this is the first station that it whizzed through, like, kind of, it didn't stop and then slowed down.
Shoot off the side as it like great. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. Just to what you referred to what you said about you being artists or whatever. The people who they were like ex-employees or whatever, they may not necessarily be artists. They could be from HR or whatever. It's a big. You hear me?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, it's a big.
I was just thinking of it in the terms that I'm familiar with.
Yeah. So for them, they could have actually some insight in the financial matters, even though. Then Roberts did say like, oh, no one besides me and like 3 other guys or whatever even know anything about the money. But like, then
but that's also worrying when we're talking about $90 million.
Yeah, and then there's also a bit where like, okay, I haven't seen the financial documents, but I know how much stuff costs, and I've seen the stuff you bought, and that costs a lot of money. That kind of stuff could be also that's not necessarily completely not legit. If I see someone,
no, absolutely, but I just thought.
No, I'm not arguing with you. I'm just saying it could be like someone in similar position or a slightly different one. But yeah, either way, it would be very interesting to see where this goes, and because the court especially in America, often reveals interesting documents as well.
That's the thing. Yeah, if it's going to be an American one, we can actually watch this go down.
Yeah, exactly. Almost. Yeah. Well, when it's done, I guess we'll get to see the stuff they considered.
Is this not going to put the sources in the awkward position of actually having to come forward?
Yeah, I guess.
Because otherwise. What is it? So who's taking who to court? The burden of proof is then on Cloud Imperium to prove that they've been slandered? That's going to be difficult. Is that how it works?
Actually, I don't know how exactly this works, and it also depends on the country, I guess. Can see a version of this where the people don't have to come out to the Cloud Imperium, for example. So they could come out to the court separately, and then the judge could be like, okay, they talked to me, I believe them. They showed me the proof of whatever. I'm not sure that would work, necessarily be legal, etc. But yeah, because like that's the stage where everyone reveals their cards. You can't just be in the court like in the court. You know, like it's not necessarily how that works. But then they would also have to
Oh.
But they would also have to reveal their documents to like have the counterpoints.
Yeah, this is the thing. We'd probably then have to actually look and see these records. So it wouldn't just be 3 people at the end.
Yeah, exactly.
But I mean, they are a year late already, and you know they've had some fairly lackluster like part releases recently. Like there was like the flip on and off FPS thing that's kind of there, kind of not, and then there was the social module, which was kind of a whole nothing.
Yeah, it's a chat room. It was a 3D chat room.
It was a $90 million chat room.
The most expensive.
But I mean, I think I don't know. I think something will come out. I don't know. It's interesting. This is one of those ones where just watch and wait because there's nothing really useful we can say except for look at these things they're saying to each other.
Yeah. Another funny thing I remember was they said one of the ways we proved the identity of these people were they showed us your company cards.
Oh, that's right.
And then Cloud Imperium was like, we don't have company cards. So there was.
Yeah, they probably just have those access fobs. I think I remember reading.
Yeah, so they mentioned that they just have access
as a company card.
Yeah, that's one of the things that company ID. That's one of the things that escapists didn't comment on afterwards. They did comment on the other stuff, but again they're sticking to their guns. So either way, I guess either will be news soon or there will be news in a year when the court case is over.
This is the thing, Andrew. You either bought a ship or you bought a fireworks display. You're gonna find out which.
Yeah, or both. I mean, it could be like fireworks display that fires shit. Speaking of shit, LinkedIn was recently in court as well. Or speaking of courts, and they lost it. They completely lost the thing, and they have to pay. I think in total, it's not that much probably for a giant.
$13 million to the users.
Peanuts for them probably. Which comes out apparently at around $10 per user if you complain about. You can complain about this if you ever received. The email that says whatever the thing says on the cartoon. Hi, someone.
Hi, I'd like to add you to my professional network on LinkedIn.
Exactly. So if you ever got that, you can get $10. Then this is the end of this news. That's
that's if you were a member of LinkedIn's so-called Ad Connections program between September 2011 and October 2014.
Yeah.
So I think it was one of these automated. Because there was a period where I did feel like, what the fuck's going on? I don't know any of these people. It's gone down a bit, but I still get that somewhat.
I'm not registered on LinkedIn. I still get that.
What?
I'm not kidding. I've never even...
Fucked.
I have about like 7 of these things from people I like maybe emailed once. Yeah, so that's fun. But then again, I mean, I kind of just kind of lazy really for $10. Probably if they transfer that money from America, I'd probably get like £3.
Yeah. And how long would it take to
I don't know. I go to Pound Store, buy 3 different things.
Yeah. But in a way, it still gives you like $10 worth of negative satisfaction for LinkedIn. You know, like you know that they don't have that $10. It's just customs or whoever the fuck.
Yeah.
So you know there is something to it.
So did you apply?
It's never been useful in any fucking way to probably anybody. Are
you going to claim it?
I probably can't be bothered. My time is probably worth much more than that to me. But it's one way I could justify it to myself if I could be bothered.
Yeah, cool. Which leads us to Apple for some reason deleting your purchase history. So previously, and there is a history of things being taken off stores, like digital stores, especially I guess. Whatever iTunes or Apple Store, whatever that thing is called nowadays. I'm not an Apple user, so I'm just going to call it whatever, mostly, in this program and in the next ones. And so some of them for political reasons. You may remember some of the apps that were like making fun of Apple or rather satirizing Apple's like production practices, etc. Sometimes recently there was a guy who made the adblock thing and he removed it himself. Right. But what happens?
Wrong.
Yeah, exactly. I feel, or if maybe I'm mistaken here, and probably maybe there are people in the chat who like are avid and livid Apple users could correct me. But if it's removed, obviously can't buy anymore. Until now, if it's removed, you can still re-download it from your purchase history. Now that's going away, so you can't even re-download it from your purchase history. But as far as I understand, you're not getting refunded.
You don't
either.
get refunded, yeah.
Yeah, which is kind of a sticky, tricky, weird kind of situation.
This is like the best argument against digital downloads. Like, digital downloads is definitely the way forward because I don't want to have more stuff. I just want the game. But
plus, rent's going up all the time. I mean, where are you going to put the stuff anyway?
Yeah, I'm eventually going to have to live in my old games boxes, which is another good argument against digital downloads, actually. But yeah, don't do that. It just reminds me of that other thing. Like, this is like a minor thing. This is to do with Android, which is they have some kind of license agreement somehow. Basically, you can't have a video playing on your Android and the screen off. So you can't use it to like watch a video podcast, listen to the podcast. I don't really know why, but it's kind of at the hardware level. So it's not at the hardware level. It's at the license level. So someone making software for Android are breaking their like developer's license agreement if they make it possible to do this.
What you can't do exactly? Say again.
You can't have video playing the screen off. So you know. If you
that's true. Because when you, I've tried to do that. And I was like, what the fuck? You
used to be able to do it as well.
Oh really? Because what I was trying to do, there's a couple of songs that I could never find on like Spotify, whatever, and I was playing them on YouTube, and like, okay, and I don't want to conserve my battery. Oh, it's stopped. Yeah, it's
just one of those like, all right, let's just have the thing be a service rather than you having a thing, and you get shit like this where you're like, I really don't care. Or,
it's very strange.
It's annoying.
Maybe in 50 years there'll be like some judge somewhere will be like that was unlawful. And
I hope so. Yeah.
Oh, which leads us to another judge thing. Oh, because we are in the law territory now, aren't we? This thing.
Oh yeah.
The guy, the Max. He's from Austria.
Power.
Yeah, Max Power, Austrian campaigner for privacy.
Max Schrems.
Max Schrems.
Sorry if I fucked that up.
Here's
a beautiful picture of Edward Snowden, by the way. This article.
That's the one I was talking about.
Oh man.
Anyway. So this guy, he privacy's into that, and so he was having an argument with the I think the Irish for whatever reason authority on. Whatever it's called, I forgot what it's called. Anyway, so this guy wanted to for Facebook not be able to transfer data from EU to its American servers. To which the Irish authority was like, "Hey, safe harbor, I can't do anything." So then he was like, "Okay, let's go to the European Court of Justice." And the European Court of Justice was like, "Oh yeah, actually that's pretty bad." So now what this means, it's kind of first say what safe harbor is. So safe harbor was a legal agreement between EU and USA made in year 2000, where we all met up and went to the disco. Anyway, so in the year 2000, it meant that it was a lot easier for American companies to get data across the ocean without going into...
It simplifies a lot of the kind of differences in law between the two, regardless kind of what the law is at whatever time.
Exactly.
That's the idea of it.
Yeah, so I think the word they used in the article was harmonizes it, which kind of makes sense.
That sounds like doublespeak.
So for one of the interesting examples was, say you have employees that work like in Europe, but the company's American, so their data, employee data, just like HR stuff, instead of using their consent to transfer it, which would be the local legal thing to do in most European countries, they were using the safe harbor thing because it was just easier. That's one of the examples, for example, that I found in there. But anyway, so this is not a thing anymore, and now local authorities have to decide whether or not they want to authorize the data transfer, and this is all in the wake of the NSA whole scandal thing, where it also his argument
sort of kicked off why he was sort of asking about it.
Yeah, because he was like, well, in America there's mass surveillance, and this is kind of illegal according to European laws. Why are we giving them information? And then the European court was like, yeah. So
yeah, you know what, the European court was probably kind of like that, because they were like, we've got mass surveillance too.
yeah.
Let's just say we have a problem with it, and then it'll seem like we don't.
So yeah, it hasn't really resulted into anything specific yet, or no one has really had any problems with it. It's pretty fresh, but it could eventually or soon maybe cause problems for the big old corporate multinationals who do multinational stuff. Yeah, like Mr. and Mrs. Google. Those guys.
Those two. That couple.
They're pretty
hard to keep up with.
In further kind of legal news, the strike we mentioned previously, the actor strike, that's happening.
Well, it's authorized. So if they don't reach a deal, the strike will happen.
Yeah, so they may had like 97 approval, whatever rating of.
Yeah,
let's do this. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. But now they're in the negotiating stage.
Yeah.
Cool.
So basically, the people they're negotiating against now know that this better work, otherwise they will have this problem of the voice actors being on strike.
Wasn't there recently a writer's strike? Well, relatively
recently,
2 years ago.
Like 8 years ago.
Wasn't that 2 or 3 years ago?
It was much longer ago than 2 or 3 years. Yeah. It was maybe 10 years almost.
Oh, how did that end?
That one flopped and kind of fizzled out. When writers' strike? When was it? 2007, 2008. Okay, so it was like 8 years ago.
Okay, in the middle of what you said and I said.
You said 2 years.
Then I said 3.
Okay, so anyway.
Was that successful? If you remember.
No, I don't think so. I think it was seen as non. My memory's shaky because it was so long ago, Andrew.
It was like 10 years ago.
It was like 400,000 years ago.
Yeah, when we're 40, we're like, oh, remember that? I'll be like, remember that the voiceover actors thing that happened like 2 years ago? And I'm like, no, Andrew, it was like 10 years ago. I feel young, okay? And that's us done with the legal stuff, and now we're in the void territory. And it's big this time around. Like it's
quite a lot of void this time. Yeah,
I guess it was pretty voidy week. So we start with we have actually 2 companies today in the news that have a 2 in between their name.
Direct to void.
Yeah, direct to void, or otherwise known as direct to drive. Made a little bit of a splashing noise in the media by
the bowl.
Yeah, by trying to get some money from Gamergaters, and saying that they are their customers and they are alive. In the
defense, it is actually very easy to get money out of Gamergaters.
All you have to do is use a hashtag like this one, what you don't tell customers.
Yeah, hashtag what you don't tell customers.
Maybe we should just have that as the title of our show every time. People be like,
you tell customers.
Here's my wallet.
Oh man. So it started off essentially with a sale. They titled. Actually, you know what? Before that, I should actually introduce what Direct to Drive is, because before this, I didn't know what Direct to Drive is because they're not very significant. But apparently, they are a Steam-like platform and have some portion of the PC market, much smaller than Steam, but kind of like that. They don't have an app like Steam, but there's like a download manager. So it's a bit like one of the other smallish ones. Names.
Green Man Gaming?
Maybe.
G2A?
Yeah.
There's a 2 in it.
There is a 2 in it. So I hear about this, they go, having a sale, we're having a trigger warning sale. So the idea being a kind of eye-rolling joke at people who have post-traumatic stress disorder, and then basically elbow nudging, please get on this sale of video games, Gamergate. We like you and your wallets, and not you. And so So, predictably, the kind of useful idiots crept out of the woodwork and were like, yeah, this is great. I'm going to buy these games. I'm probably not going to play them. Wasn't planning on playing any of them, but I'm just supporting this kind of thing. And, on the other end, obviously, Direct to Drive, like, obviously morally bankrupt, just going, money. Because if I was like this tiny market share compared to Steam and I didn't offer anything different to them, the only way I think I could justify my existence was somehow serving, different clientele. So I would just take the worst people in the world and take their money. Yeah. I think that's probably what I would do. So I can't blame them.
I wonder if it worked. Like, if they were like...
Yeah, it'd be very interesting to know if it worked. I guess one thing that it probably definitely did was let people know what it is. Like, it's like Steam, but worse. So that's cool.
Yeah. I mean... Yeah. There's like a lot of places like that nowadays. Like, is Desura still up?
Oh, wasn't that? Didn't we talk about Desura?
Yeah, we did. It got
exploding.
Morally and non-morally bankrupt, but I wondered if it was like still, if the website was still like functioning.
You can buy Desura.com. No, it's still up.
Okay.
It looks
I
like
believe.
ass.
I believed you.
You believe me for a second. I would have bought it on the spot.
Yeah, it'd be cool. We could get like Desura, the other like extension, like Desura Sex.
Desura XXX.
Isn't there sex a domain now?
UK.
You can have sex or porn as a domain name. As a domain extension.
Probably.
You can have like Desura porn. Imagine.
Desura.porn.
This could be our business.
Desura.porn something. BT says, sorry, the website Desura.porn.
See, it's up for grabs, dude. We just think about it. We could.
I'm thinking about it right now.
We could just host that one game, the worst one on Steam there, and that would be it. That would be like, and then take this to like V&A Museum as like art piece.
Oh, that's fantastic. All right.
Anyway, next logical thing after this is Konami demanding insurance for their in-game shit, and I'm gonna use this image every time now when we talk about Konami.
I can't wait to see it.
So, you've heard about the Metal Gear 5 thing. It came out recently, and people went apeshit. So it has there has a multiplayer component to the game where you kind of invade each other's asses or something like that. So, and you build a FOB, which stands for a Forward Operations Base, in the ass, and then that ass can be invaded. And people can steal from each other some resources and shoot each other or something like that. But now, if you're upset about that and you don't like getting invaded much, you can pay Konami to get FOB insurance, real money, non fun bucks, but just like real deal cash. And if anything gets stolen from you, it will be immediately replaced by the same amount of stuff that got stolen from you.
Will there be... Andrew, I have a question.
Yeah.
Will there be, like, no claims bonuses and stuff?
3 years FOP, no claims bonus. Idiot account.
Oh my god.
Yeah, so that's like probably the weirdest shit. I mean, yeah, obviously microtransactions.
I want to see the TV ad where, like, there's Snake, and he hands the keys to a helicopter to his daughter, and he's like, don't break it, and she's like, I won't, Dad! And then she's, like, banging it around the base, and he's just going... Oh, thank God I have the Konami insurance.
And like, why would you get like insurance from a company that's about to go bust anyway? Like,
oh dear God.
Yeah. So yeah, that's the thing now. By the way, so if you have MG Metal Gear Solid,
MGS?
yeah, MGS5, you can get insurance. I actually don't know about the prices, so look it up yourself. Don't get me involved in your shit.
Do you think it's an experiment, actually? Just an experiment in seeing... First you build, like, a fan base. So Kojima, let's pretend, is a robot. This is actually very similar to a Metal Gear Solid plot, in a way. And then you just push and push and push and do weirder and weirder and more outlandish and, like, disgusting things to them until they disappear, or you find out that they never will.
Who disappear? The customers disappear.
The fans, yeah. They're like, let's do an experiment on humans. Let's see how they behave if we give them this, like...
But what's the like contingency plan if they do disappear? Like, do they have like, it was a joke? Or
no, they do appear they publish in Nature saying that we reject the null hypothesis that humans will just listen to Kojima forever.
What's that magazine? It's Scientific American. Is there a magazine called like that? Is there like Scientific Japanese person? This is the name of the magazine. They publish it in there. Which leads us to our favorite organization from UK, the Taxpayers Alliance.
I didn't know that they would have such legs. I thought they were just like a one-off. They'd pop up and then not recur. But like they're fascinating to watch.
They got millions in funding from conservatives. Like they're not going away. They got too much money invested into them. So if you don't remember them, they were involved in criticizing European Union for giving money to arts, including video games. They were like, "What the hell? This is taxpayer money. You can't just give it to arts." This is a what is it? Is it a thing? It's a lobbying group, I guess. Financed mostly by actual Tories or their friends. Yeah. And they're all about transparency, even though their donors list is private. You can't see their donors, but they're all about taxpayer money transparency and general transparency and all that stuff. So they got into news recently, last week, because one of their members, whose last name is Wild, I forgot his Alex Wild, I think.
Alex Wild.
Yeah, he. So there was a conservative conference in UK, and as like within this framework, they had a little meeting where they were like, conservatives must tax the old people and the pensioners now, because if they don't do it now, they may die, and then there's no one to tax. Like, this is literally what the guy said. This is not a joke. He was like, and he said, this may sound a bit morbid, but
I want to read all the direct quotes. I'm very happy to do that.
Go for it.
So I'm just going to read from this part, because Mr. Wild, who's research director of the think tank, which campaigns for lower taxes and highlights examples of government waste, said the cuts should be made as soon as possible after an election for two reasons. The first of which will sound a little bit morbid. Some of the people won't be around to vote against you in the next election. So that's just a practical point. And the other point is that they might have forgotten by then. He added, if you did it now, chances are that in 2020, someone who has had their winter fuel cut might be thinking, I can't remember. Was it this government? Or was it the last one? I'm not quite sure. So on a purely practical basis, I'd say do it immediately. That might be one of those things I regret saying later in later life, but that would be my practical advice to the government. Now, maybe he was thinking later in life, joking that perhaps when he's an old person freezing to death in the UK, that he'll be like, I should never have recommended that they cut that. But actually, it appears that it's the next day that he's regretting saying that. That's fucking monstrous. I've never heard anyone say
that was like, whoa,
that.
Seriously? You just went for that?
And it's funny as well, because, like, you know who votes Conservative? Old fucks.
Yeah, exactly. But maybe it's those who, like, don't need the tax, whatever, the thing. It's ones that actually have stuff.
Yeah, so they were thinking of cutting heating and, like, the bus passes and Christmas bonus. I didn't know that was a thing, but fine, they were planning on cutting that as well. So you kind of already have people freeze to death each year. It's a thing that really happens.
And it's not a very cold country, by the way.
And this is not like a particularly cold country. It's been warmer recently. Yeah. I mean, thanks to
Al Gore.
to the policies pursued by conservative governments and others. But this guy. I can't even like collect my thoughts on how disgusting this is and how much I want to hurt this person physically with my hands outside IRL.
You're gonna fight him with the FITE?
I would love to fight this man. I would love to fight him. Oh my god, it would be so good. I'd be the hero of the people. I'd get this big crowd of old people to stand in my front lawn, and I'd be like shirtless, obviously, and I'd be like, "Roar, roar!" And I'd beat the shit out of him mercilessly until the police took me away. That would be great.
We're gonna continue our coverage of TPA in the future episodes of People's Exhibit.
Yeah, I hate follow them on Twitter, and so should you.
Yeah, I tried that. It didn't work for me because I was like vomiting on the third day. But if you can, I mean that's good because one of us should be doing it.
I'll give you the gag reel. Huh? Vomiting?
Yeah, we could do like rotational thing if you want. Like 1 week you follow them, another week I'll follow them, so we don't get like too
As soon
sick.
as we start bleeding from the eyes, we switch.
Yeah, exactly. In the same article, there was a thing with one of the actual MP conservative guys. Who what did he say? It's like we crushed the opposition. Now is the time to enact the policies that we all know deep down in our hearts are the right thing to do. I was like, oh god, we're doomed.
Oh man, that's. I feel bad for the word heart.
Yeah, it's hard. It's like quitting the job.
Rough.
Yeah, exactly. So, which takes us to the FIFA kids getting hacked for some reason. Could be hacked by conservatives. I mean, you know. So this is sort of back kind of to the video games, I guess. The stuff we're meant to be talking about anyway.
Yeah.
FIFA is a game of football on like consoles mostly, and also PC sometimes, and it's very popular. It seems like. Yeah. People play it and they watch other people play it. And there's a few people on YouTube who just do that. They play FIFA. I know it's strange, but believe me, it's true. I've checked. And they have like subscribers in millions. And many of them recently, as like I think today or yesterday, got hacked. It's a very, very sad story. And all of them, everyone who got hacked, made a video where they said, "I got hacked."
They didn't say I got hacked.
Oh, really?
They kind of screamed repeatedly, I got hacked.
Okay, in videos they screamed repeatedly, thank you, Ed, that they got hacked. Now, what they lost is some in-game shit, which I think is ironic because having that kind of stuff in the game should be illegal anyway. Some of them claim they lost up to £1,000 in value. Items are like to be valued at around £1,000, and that
it seemed to just be the in-game currency, which I imagine you just spend on transfers, maybe.
They also some kind of dream team stuff where you make like not actual teams with some players, and that is what I don't understand in this. To be honest, is probably because I'm too old to for football. Around 30 people usually quit like sports and they become coaches or musicians. So, or politicians, obviously in Eastern Europe mostly. They steal your shit, but the only place you can actually spend the shit, like the players, the cards, the coins, the crap that EA makes for you to have fun with in FIFA, is in FIFA. So it is highly traceable, isn't it? Like you know what I mean? Like it's like stealing Monopoly money while playing a game of Monopoly, and then suddenly be like, "Oh, where did I get this million from?" I guess
That's a good point. I don't know how that works. Then maybe it's like those Bitcoin things where if you really did the work, you could trace it all, but they divide it up and move it around so much that they're like, "Oh, whatever, it's gone." But yeah, that's the thing. I don't know. If it's just in-game stuff you can buy, maybe it's just to fuck with them. Like they thing and then sold it for less than it was worth, bought it, sold it, just to destroy the currency, if that's possible. Because these are like famous YouTubers. Like the reason they did it to these guys is for profile. Is my guess.
Yeah.
Like, so it's the kind of hacking where it's not for gain. Like, usually with FIFA, the hacking is someone hacks your Steam account, they buy 10 serials of a FIFA game, and they sell it to whoever. But with this, it was like just an internal thing that seems to just be like the equivalent of like squatting. It's just bullshit, just to annoy these people who will then make these videos where their thumbnail is their mouth stretched open like a fucking snake.
Yeah. That's. Oh, by the way, I wanted to talk about that. I agree with what you said. I think that's probably what it is. That's like the whatever what is it called, the bragging rights or whatever kids call it nowadays. Yeah, that's probably what. Because some of the stuff they didn't like steal, but they deleted it. So they went to their account. Yeah. Oh, we should mention how they hacked them because that's hilarious.
Oh, this is the best part. You go for it.
So they hacked them by being nice to the customer support and getting access. Be like, oh, I lost my password. So sorry. Could you help me out? And then they did help him out, and that's how they hacked them. There wasn't like some kind of I'm going in the Matrix type. He was just being nice to the customer service lady. But thumbnails. That's quite interesting. If you look at the thumbnails of most popular YouTubers, like more than, I don't know, 75% have their mouth open.
Yeah.
Right?
You know what I think this is? This is probably borrowed from or like developed out of the research done on like facial recognition in babies. You know how they do a lot of research where they show babies things and then they like monitor their heart rate or response time and things. And they noticed that babies went like when they saw like a YouTuber go in a thumbnail, and they're like, okay, good, that's clicks. That equals clicks. And the babies were like, FIFA. And I think that's probably why we don't have as many views as...
Yeah. I mean, I could open my mouth. I don't know. Like, it's fine. It's like... it always seems like I'm about to watch a video about, like, dental exam, or I don't know, like... It's like, look at my teeth. Look, I got all of them.
This last guy looks kind of like Dean Hall.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Dean Hall's known to open his mouth once in a while.
Yeah, to say, rowdy!
He's been quite silent recently. I guess his game isn't really working out as well because it has like everything in it, like Star Citizen.
Yeah, last I heard, he got gigabit internet, the bastard.
Well, where?
New Zealand. He got some kind of crazy like fiber pipe to his or wherever his office. I think it was in New Zealand.
Okay,
And,
he was
so
fighting for that
like
for a long time.
100 times speed internet than you or me.
No, I think he got it for the entire town, so it's not like it's all his.
Yeah.
Yeah, so he got the pipeline there, but I mean, they're still gonna share it.
Yeah, sure,
Yeah.
but I mean, I don't know, there that many like sheep herders Twitch streaming.
They love it, yeah. Especially now the Danes from there. There's everyone's just streaming everything, probably.
Yeah, there's like two things: Lord of the Rings, DayZ. Great. Oh, I'm sorry, New Zealand.
But yeah, I guess they did open mouth in their thumbnails. I don't know, like it's how things get done these days. It's yeah. Which
I want a Syriac video of your head coming out of your head coming out of your head. It's like a YouTube intro.
Yeah, it could be YouTube poop, like 10-hour video of that, with that sound of what is it? The one where the wizard from Lord of the Rings is dancing. The music.
Where is Gandalf very much? I have to speak with him.
Yeah, that one. Or like lick spin or something. I don't know. Anyway.
Yeah, that'd be perfect.
Which leads us to China. You got to tell us about China, Ed, and George Orwell's visit to China. Okay,
so this is sort of a two-parter thing. So first part is ACLU, sort of privacy-minded group people you may have heard of. Basically reports about something spooky from China, as they want to have, and this is to do with a credit score system. And so they're talking kind of like they talk about a credit score system that's supposedly in China, which makes use of a lot of sort of access to personal data, and kind of puts it all together to help come up with a with a credit score. And as you know, credit score determines kind of how you can borrow or if you can borrow money, which is kind of a big deal. So the controversial part of this, well, that in itself is somewhat controversial that they would be able to make this score out of data passively. But the one of the things that came out of it was that you could have a lowered credit score by buying video games. So it would look at your hobbies and stuff. One of the examples cited was, yes, if you bought a game, you would have a worse credit score. There was also more China classic type things, like bad mouthing the government would lower your credit score. And political comments online posted without prior permission. I don't know who you asked.
The doy.
Political comments. Also, interestingly, it seems to be based on like a kind of social network map of friends and stuff. Because if your friends bought a game or badmouth the government without prior consent,
wait, that also counts?
That would also count. So this was obviously super scary, and people were like losing their shit about it. And it is super scary, and people are losing their shit about it. So then the next article, now I want to note this is from a website called Tech in Asia, so this could easily be a Chinese site. I don't actually know. But it's in response to the ACLU piece. And it's not like just going, that's all bullshit. it's a little bit more complicated than that, which is that there are a few credit rating systems in China. I believe there are 3. One of them, and the one that they're talking about. Okay, so there's 3. One's called Alibaba Sesame Credit, which I think is the one that.
What a great name!
It's pretty good, right? But I think that's the one which has the features that I just spoke about.
Yeah.
Then there's Tencent is another one, and there's a mandatory government one, which isn't mandatory until 2020, so it's sort of in development. And these are not the same things, but the fear is obviously that why wouldn't they use the exact same techniques? And why is there a non-government credit system that's including criticism of the government in its credit rating? So they're non-government products, but obviously they are still fucking weird and worrying. But yes, so it's worth bearing that in mind in this story. It's still weird and creepy, but it's not simple. Nothing's ever simple, so it's always worth looking a little further into it. But yeah, that's obviously bad. I don't think anyone likes that.
I want to know what Milo thinks about this. I mean, this is...
I love hearing what Milo thinks.
I mean, this is clearly in violation of gamer rights.
Yeah, I want him to, go to China and protest this in front of a tank.
He could do like
under a tank.
He could do a Weiwei thing. You know, the Weiwei, the famous dissident artist from China.
Yeah.
He got famous, in case some of you don't know, with making that picture of him in front of, I think, one of the main government buildings and flipping the bird and taking a picture of him being just essentially like that. And then it was like, and then he arrested. I think he got arrested for that, and
I think he was in prison for a bit.
Yeah, it was like he did some time for flipping the bird. So maybe Milo could do something like that. I mean,
I think he should do that.
Yeah.
I think he should stay there until they free Tibet.
Yeah, I mean, I think he's probably lived in London for like a long time now. Might as well just change of climate, change of occupation.
Think about it as leveling up. Huh?
Yeah.
So you're a gamer, Milo. You play a lot of games. I know you do. Don't pretend you don't. In all past articles up to 2014, you do. I know you do.
Yeah, he was a secret gamer. He came out as a gamer.
Yes, he's a closet gamer.
Closet gamer.
Not your closet gamer shield? I don't
Not
know.
anyway. Not your hanger.
Not your coat hanger.
Not your wardrobe.
Not your wardrobe. So, anyway, yes. So that's fucked. We're not super certain on how fucked it is, but it will probably eventually be super fucked. But I don't know. It's the conclusion of that.
There's like a dystopian sort of sci-fi novel, which I forgot the name. It's called something like I love you, game over, or something like sort of. It says a cute name, but it describes this. It's like 2050 and America, and there's credit polls is one thing I remember from this. So everyone has like a smartphone where they do everything all the time, and everyone streams themselves all the time to each other. Everyone's like watching and streaming and watching each other talking about everything all the time. But there's credit polls, so credit rating is huge. And there's a credit poll like every 50 meters on every street. So you can go up to it and quickly check your credit rating, which can go up or down like very rapidly.
That's cool.
Yeah, and the guy, like, obviously when, like, the shit goes down and his credit rating, for whatever reason he did something, is falling, he just starts running from one poll to another. It keeps like lowering and lowering. And
why doesn't he just stay in the same poll and refresh?
Because he has to also get somewhere or something like that. So. The kind
he has to get to the bathroom before his credit rating goes below -100. He's not allowed to use the bathroom.
Could be, yeah, actually. Yeah. The postmodern American novel thing where like everything has to happen at the same time and lasts like 3 pages. So that's that sort of deal. Which leads us to the actual video game news for some reason, which I have a couple of.
Oh my god!
I have another great YouTube image. This one. So I promised you there would be 2 companies with a 2 in their name. So this one is G2A, which actually I don't know what it stands for. Do you know what it stands for?
Games to Arse. Hang on, let me find out. G2A. It must mean something. I will get to the bottom of this while you tell us about the story.
Okay, so they are famous for selling codes or reselling codes. And there's been a couple of sort of minor scandals around that or whatever, investigations about the legality of the issue of reselling the codes and where they get it from. Because there are also cases sometimes where they would sell the codes and people then would have their game cancelled or whatever, their code revoked by Steam, for example. But anyway, so they're also famous for, besides that, for sponsoring different esports teams, mostly League of Legends teams, and here doing a giveaway with PewDiePie. Apparently, which is, I was happy I found this image. I was like, oh, find me something about GTA. So here's an image of PewDiePie with a bow tie, streaming cards of his.
You know what? You know what's happened to this image, by the way?
What?
They have a picture of some fucking guy wearing a suit and bow tie. They have a picture of PewDiePie's head, and they needed to make it feel like it was being lit in the same environment, which is why he has that horrible FIFA Night movie gradient over the side of his face. That is some lazy Photoshop bullshit. Whoever did that, you should be ashamed of yourselves.
So they sponsor teams, and they sponsor also, I think, streamers, etc. But recently, again, like 2 days ago or maybe yesterday, they got banned from being any kind of sponsor or doing anything really with League of Legends. And they had, I think, 3 or 4 teams that were sponsored by them. In part, they were not the sole sponsor of the teams.
Right.
But it was like, I was surprised to find out that so many teams had the same sponsor, which is usually strange. Like in football, for example, or somewhere, you don't really see everyone being like Volkswagen or something. Now no one's gonna have Volkswagen, obviously, but after what happened.
Yeah.
But you know, like whatever car company that is still okay to be your sponsor. I don't know.
Yeah.
Fiat.
You know, the company I work for recently got bought by the company that owns the company that's our biggest competitor. So now we have a mother company, us, and our biggest competitor owned by the same people.
Isn't there a thing in like human biology where the mother and the fetus are not really like this? They have like there's like different blood or something. So different.
I thought they
blood.
shared blood or something up to a point or something weird like that.
Because there are cases where the mother mother's organism goes like, oh wait, that's a foreign object, and like tries to kill its own child.
Yeah, that's how most
happen.
like abortions, natural abortions
Yeah,
happen.
yeah.
The body's like, oh, what the fuck? And
Yeah. So just a reminder, what you said reminded me of that.
yeah, reminds you of abortions.
So back to GTA. The reason they got banned is quite interesting. Is because besides the codes or the serials for games on like for Steam, they also sell other stuff like League of Legends accounts, which is against the rules of League of Legends. And they also sell opportunities, I guess, let's put it that way, to boost accounts. This is
high ELOs.
Yeah, exactly. Which is even stranger because what is the point? Because when the booster goes away and you sit down with your account, you still suck. So,
Yeah, you just get beaten by really good players.
Yeah, so which is a very strange practice that people actually pay a lot of money for, apparently.
But I mean, people also pay for like wallhack mods, like that DayZ mod, whatever it was called. People paid for that.
Yeah. To me, that makes more sense than boosting, to be honest.
Because at least you get to kill someone.
With boosting, you just play against good people who are good at the game, and then you're dead anyway. Anyway, so this is also against the rules with Riot, who is the developer, whatever, publisher of League of Legends, and also who are in charge of organizing all the events. And apparently they were like, this is not gonna work. We're not cool with this. But they didn't back down. They could back down, but they didn't. And the teams were told recently that we're not even gonna challenge this. You're done. So they're actually apparently seems like they make a lot more money in the end out of selling this shit than actually being a legit sponsor of the teams. So that happened. But
that's rough for the players. But I mean, like Riot, Riot's totally right. Like they have an agreement. It got broken by these scumbags. So fuck them.
Yeah, exactly. No, yeah, absolutely. They also have a lot of streamers who, some of them, like their main thing is League of Legends. So it's kind of unclear whether or not that's going to be also somehow within this, like involved with whatever is happening here. But I guess that remains to be seen if Riot is going to follow up on that as well.
Yeah.
In further League of Legends news, BBC Three, which isn't actually a TV channel, even though it sounds like it is. It's an internet portal now. So this is kind of like shit news, really, because they're like, oh yeah, we're gonna we're gonna live stream and comment on the League of Legends quarterfinals, which are in Wembley, which is like a stadium in London.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah, at least that's cool.
So I guess it's one of those things where esports becoming more mainstream, blah blah blah, yep. BBC, blah. But yeah, it's not actually on TV. It's just gonna be like on their website.
It's the intersection of esports becoming more mainstream, not being really mainstream, and BBC Three becoming less mainstream, not really being mainstream.
Not really being a TV
it's
channel.
On the way, it's got like various things to cross, and one of them is the BBC threshold, BBC Three threshold, and then they've got to go to real television.
What was it? The dick to floor distance, and then the.
It's less about the size of their dick or their height and their dick to floor ratio. I can't remember.
So that's happening. Another thing that's happening very soon, I think it's in 2 weeks, is a game we've been quite involved with is going to be kind of done. Chaos Reborn is sort of done, kind of.
It's kind of done.
Yeah.
Sort of.
Yeah, it's sort of...
Asterisk.
3 of them, I think. It's sort of getting released, kind of, but not the way it was kind of... promised, kind of, on the Kickstarter.
It's almost gonna come out, sort of, kind of, in the way that they promised-ish, but not exactly.
Yeah.
But kind of.
Yeah, so you can kind of play the full sort of version of the game on the 26th of October, but not really.
In a way.
Yeah.
But also.
Yeah. But
right, so really, what's different is it's fairly minor stuff is left out. Demigod and God features are not in there yet, and they say that in the first 2 months following the release being 26th of October, they intend to put that in and support the game in the future, including one thing I thought was interesting was they said including new spells. There would be a couple of new spells in the works.
Wait, where did they say this? Because I didn't see this.
This is I believe it was in my backer email. It may be different to the general release update as I'm a god tier, but I don't know. I thought it.
I'm a backer. I'm a backer.
Existing
I'm a backer pretty hard.
I'm sure I read this.
Okay.
But it's not on this update.
Let
me look for that while you continue.
Okay, so this is in 2 months after release. The thing's still happening. Mostly, this is just an excuse for me to use this image. Really, I kind of every week when I prepare stuff for the show, I just kind of hope there will be something about Chaos, so I can put up this picture and use it. But yeah, it's kind of weird because if you play the game now, it still feels very unfinished, and the 26th of October is in like 2 weeks, so it's a bit weird. Did you find it?
Yeah, it is actually in this boost. Here's the sentence. It goes, most significantly, the demigod and god roles are the ones that need to be finished. We'll be adding these features in the first 2 months after release, and we will continue to support the game with regular updates, including new content such as additional spells and game modes. Obviously, no details on that. That's just.
Is this like an expansion thing? Like, are they meaning to do like sort of? Like...
It seems just like continuous, because he says our version 1.0 release, so I think by using that language, they're thinking, okay, 1.0 will be this, 1.1 will have demigods and whatever, 1.15 will have this spell, so it sounds like a continuous thing.
Okay.
That's just my guess.
Because I was thinking maybe it's like in Armor, like you kind of have like a Chaos Reborn Marksman DLC and a Chaos Reborn...
Hey, I would buy that.
Helicopters.
Actually, no, Chaos Reborn Marksman DLC, I would say I've paid £1,000 for this, can I please just have this for free?
Well, you have the deluxe edition with the soundtrack, the art book, and when is that novel coming out?
Is there going to be more than one song?
No. When is that novel coming out?
Okay.
I'm
looking forward to my pivotal role in it.
Yeah. Don't you just say blub blub? Yeah, that's pretty.
I'm really glad that was. The art. I got the artwork, the god artwork for my character. I've shown it to you. It's fucking cool. I'll post it up somewhere at some point, but it looks really nice. Like one thing I'll definitely say for them is they've got fucking great artists.
Too bad that your artwork's not going to be in the release of the game.
Oh, we'll have to wait until the 26th of December?
Yeah,
When
maybe.
Boxing Day it comes out fully? That'd be great.
I mean,
Yeah,
it's not too bad in terms of like when it was promised to come out and when did it actually come out, because it was promised, I think, either May or it was like summer or something like that. So it was like, it's about 4 months late.
Yeah, I mean,
but
even
not
if Derek
super
Smart
finished.
had failed to make a Wizard game, he still wouldn't be on Julian's ass yet.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So we're almost done here. The only thing we have left is we don't actually have any like. Well, let me explain. So usually we have like the AI robots taking over the world news, and then we have what the fuck news. So there wasn't really what the fuck news, but then we had one tech news, and as I was reading this, I realized that it's actually kind of a what the fuck news anyway. So recently, Microsoft announced a new series or continuing their Surface stuff. This is a artist's impression of what a Surface laptop will look like on release. So what they've promised with that is that they're going to be extremely powerful, and they're calling it Surface Book. So it's not Surface 4 or 5 or whatever it was before. It's Surface Book. And so they said it's twice as powerful as MacBook Pro, but which one, it's kind of unclear. So it could be with the one from the 2009. I don't know, because it doesn't
That's
say.
why they stopped using numbers. Now they're just words. They're like, I'm better than Word, and they're like, I can't verify that.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. The bullshit bit, and what? So they're also, this is also kind of advertised as like, oh, for gaming, because it's gonna have it is a Surface. It's very thin. It's very portable. It only weighs 1.5 kilos, which is whatever in your non-metric system. And it's detachable screen, so you can take it off and be a
It says
tablet.
it weighs 700 grams.
Maybe without the keyboard.
Oh, right, okay. Oh, yeah, maybe.
But when it's attached to the keyboard, it makes use of its discrete GPU.
Oh, okay.
Which is an NVIDIA GPU that is meant to be really good.
Okay.
And you can,
like one of them mobile series GPUs, I guess.
But the funny bit is that this thing is meant to come out in like 3 weeks. Yeah. But and you can pre-order it now, but it doesn't say what GPU it has. It just has it says discrete NVIDIA GPU pay now. Which is like, guys,
same sentence.
Yeah, guys, come on. It's very it is very expensive. It is like the cheapest one you can get is $1,500, which is probably £1,500, obviously for reasons. But and that one doesn't even have a discrete GPU. That just a whatever Intel HD thing, you know, the thing it has within the CPU. And the first one that has a discrete GPU starts at $1,800. I get a lot of money for a laptop, and without
and the most
knowing,
expensive one's $2,700.
Yeah, without knowing like what's in there, it's just kind of like, I don't want to know why people are gonna pre-order this. I guess like hardcore fans. I don't know.
Also, a 13.5-inch screen with a resolution of 3K by 2K is too much. Like that, you're not gonna. That's like you could easily have gone for like just a HD screen at that size. Like unless you're leaning all the way into it, that's pointless. And like you could probably have saved on some of the components.
What if for those cases where you're carrying this in your hand and then you fall on the screen and then you're like, oh god, it's so sharp. Yeah, think of those. Think of those cases.
Those times.
Those times. It's pretty good. So anyway, if you're a gamer with a lot of money, you can get this like in October. And tell us like if it's any good. You know, cause
let us know. Pete's waiting for his Steam controller, and we're gonna have him let us know how it is.
Oh, wait, isn't it like arriving soon?
Yeah. It's currently in Germany or something. Like it's
already sent.
It's been dispatched.
So Germans are using it now. Okay, cool. They're getting pre-used. Yeah. Cool. Actually, it's haptic controller or whatever. The owl face. Really be interesting.
They should have you do the press release.
Right?
Just, oh yeah, haptic controller or something. It's got the owl. You know, you've seen it, the owl face.
Yeah.
You haven't seen it? Oh, I've got the memory stick with the PDF on it.
And then my trousers are on
drive.
fire because I put the cigarette on it by accident. And it's just like, well, I have
Oh fuck me, that's not meant to happen. I'll just put on my alternative reality goggles.
where I'm not on fire.
CG away the fire.
It's the Microsoft approach, isn't it? Anything you want to say, Ed, in parting?
Stay woke.
You heard it here first, guys.
No one drops a full slice. Stay woke. I'm done. That's
it. Thanks for watching, everybody. If you're watching this on YouTube, press the button, and we go live every Thursday. It's still BST for now, roughly 10 p.m. BST. If you want to watch this live, it's really what you should be doing, watching this live, because it is hilarious, and I'm saying this in a most objective, unbiased manner possible.
Get your top hat.
None. Yeah, it's always there. It's just sometimes invisible. If I'm not objective enough, it doesn't really come into view. Like that thing on the pan that when it's ready for cooking, it goes changes color or whatever, the rings disappear.
And it never happens.
Yeah, it never happens because you can't really cook, can you? Bye.
Bye.